Here we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Kageyama, and I'd like to welcome everyone here to Be Your Own Hero. Thank you for joining us. I'm a stage 4 prostate cancer, bone cancer, and lung cancer patient, and I'm doing much, much better. And I'd like to share as far as my health, making improvements all the time. I had a great experience yesterday afternoon. For those of you who happen to watch the hit show Naked and Afraid, I had a chance to meet one of the stars of Naked and Afraid. Her name is Kai Furneaux, and chatted with her, had a chance to take a selfie with her. So it was a lot of fun and a great experience. And I also sent her my YouTube channel. So she said she's going to check it out and let me know what she thinks. But that's what happened yesterday. So I was really excited about that. But I'm actually even more excited for our guest today. And he's from Florida, Fort Lauderdale. And his name is Jon E. Adams. And I'd like to introduce everyone to Johnny. So please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Johnny.
How you doing, Mark? Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate you having me on. I'm currently releasing my children's books that are meant to promote positivity. And there's just too much hatred and too much negativity in the world now. So my goal with the books is to give children positive role models to look up to, positive characters that they can emulate. All the books are anti-bullying, anti-racism. All the books feature diverse characters from all different ethnicities, all different backgrounds. Just try to teach children, you know, that there's a better way out there than what we see a lot in our world today. We see a lot of fighting, we see a lot of hatred, a lot of people that can't agree. And then when they disagree on something, that turns into a bigger deal than it should, when it should just be something minor. So, yeah, just focusing on bringing positivity to children and giving them something, something with good morals and something positive that they can look up to.
Fantastic. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing that you're doing, Johnny. Uh, but this channel is to be your own hero, and so let's start by talking about your experience with cancer and how that started, and yeah, shed some light on that.
Yeah, I got cancer when I was in my 20s. At the time, I was in the best shape of my life. I was running track meets. I was actually trying to qualify for the Olympic trials. And so it was a shock for me because I didn't think that anything was wrong with me. And I just happened to go for a checkup. And when the doctor told me that I had testicular cancer, it just kind of sent me into shock. I remember just like actually shaking, like I couldn't stop shaking in his office. Um, I couldn't even process the thought of something being wrong. I mean, I was running like 10 miles a day. I was lifting weights twice a day. We had a swimming pool company, family owned company. We built swimming pools down here in South Florida. So I was working out in the 100-degree heat every day, nothing wrong with me. So, yeah, it was a pretty big shock for me. Pretty big shock. I remember calling my dad on the phone, and the first thing he said to me is, "Get it through your head right now. You're not going anywhere. You're gonna be fine. There's nothing that you can't handle. Nothing's gonna happen to you. Think positive. You're not going anywhere." And that pretty much just set the table for me as for how I would react from that point on.
That is awesome. I mean, I love that. I love that advice from your dad. I mean,
Yeah.
to have somebody that close to you tell you those things had to have made a huge impact on
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. That was very emotional when I called him. You know, very emotional. And once he told me that, it just put me in a frame of mind that I needed to be in. And you know yourself, you have to stay in that positive frame of mind. You have to think about your family. You know, I'm going to do this for my family. I don't think it can ever be about you, because when it's about you, I don't think it's as meaningful as it needs to be. I think when it's for your family, for someone that you care about, for someone that you love, then you're going to be in the proper frame of mind, and you're going to have that positive energy and that positive motivation to go where you need to go.
you. No, I totally get it because that was exactly my motivation myself because I had to be here for my
Right,
family. I mean,
right.
there was failure was not an option. You know,
Exactly,
I was going to be there.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
I actually heard a great quote recently. The true soldier fights not because of the hate he has for what's in front of him, but for the love that he has for what's behind him. And that's basically what we're talking about. You know, when you put your family in perspective and you're going to fight for them, then that puts the frame of mind where it needs to be.
beautiful, beautiful. So your dad helped you with your mindset. Uh,
Definitely.
so how did your journey progress from there as far as cancer goes?
Yeah, I was one of the fortunate ones. I caught it very early. Um, I did go through radiation, but even at that, with my dad putting me in that frame of mind, I would lift weights before I went in for my radiation treatments, and then I would go lift weights after the radiation treatments. So to me, that was the way I trained myself to fight it. Was everybody's telling me I'm gonna be nauseous, I'm not gonna be able to eat, so I'm just gonna lift weights twice a day. I actually gained weight during the radiation instead of losing weight, and it's all because of what you're saying. Because my dad put me in that proper frame of mind. I had that in my system that I'm going to gain weight. I'm going to get stronger through this. I'm not going to get weaker, and so I was very lucky. You know, I realized that not everybody is as fortunate as me, but that was um, my journey was just going through it like that. I honestly only missed one day of work, and that was the day that I had the surgery. The very next day, I went back to work and just just kept moving full speed ahead. Um,
So, you know, when you were looking back upon, because when you're diagnosed with cancer,
yeah,
it absolutely has to change your life.
yeah.
So, because your dad gave you that incredible pep talk, have you talked to him about it since that time?
Yeah, definitely. I've talked to both my brothers. We're all very close. I have two brothers, one older, one younger. I've talked to my two brothers. I've talked to my dad and my mom as well. And we talk about things like that all the time. My dad used to, when we were growing up, my dad used to tell us just all the time, mind over matter, mind over matter, mind over matter. The mind is the most powerful muscle that there is. You have to believe it's all about positive thinking. So it wasn't a shock for me when he said it, because that's how he raised us. But it was a shock for me at that time, just because my mind was somewhere totally different. My mind was emotional. I was stunned by what the doctor told me, and yeah, so it was definitely needed, and it was it was what everybody needs. And I know not everybody's as fortunate as me to catch it early and things like that. But it really is what everybody needs. Cancer feasts off negativity. It really does. And the more positive that you can stay, the more positive you can keep your thoughts, the more successful you're going to be.
I love that. Absolutely love it. In fact, I had a moment in my journey that was different, but in a way it was similar because I was in the hospital for a week with a botched lung biopsy. And a good friend of mine is a nutritionist. Um, and I was a vegan at that time. I'd been a vegan for 10 years. And he basically told me, he said, you're going to have to change your diet. And he said, this is what you're going to have to do. He laid out a diet for me. He said, if you do this diet and you take it seriously, you will live. And so I thought, you know, he was strong with me. He just said,
Right.
he said, if you stay with your vegan diet, I don't know if you'll make it.
Wow.
So my back was against the wall, and
Right.
so I said, okay, Lord, please, help me with this. I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And so I followed through with what he
Yeah.
said, and I'm here.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I got to tell you, you're an unbelievable inspiration. You really are. What you're doing right now is truly inspiring and it's amazing. And I might sound weird because I just met you, but I'm really proud of you. I really am. I'm proud of the way that you're fighting for your family. I'm proud of the way you're fighting for yourself, changing your diet. Um, that's the one thing I can say from being there, even though everybody's journey is different. Just from being in an oncology office, I remember the very first time I went to the oncology office. Um, Everybody that I knew growing up, they passed away from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, my grandfather, the first football coach I ever had was very dear to me because my brothers were great friends with his sons, and just the first football coach I ever had, that was a big deal. And I went into the oncology office for the first time, and there's an elderly woman sitting there next to me, and I swear she looks just like my grandmother. And then there's an elderly man sitting over there, and I swear he looks just like my first football coach. And I started freaking out, and I actually started crying. And the woman that was working there, the office manager, she actually came out and asked me if I was okay because I was a lot younger than everybody there. So she probably, expected for me to be somewhat emotional, I would imagine. But yeah, just going through it does things to you that you didn't really prepare for. There was no way to prepare for it until you're in it. So just looking at you, like I said, I'm just really, I'm proud of you, and you're just an unbelievable inspiration. What you're doing,
Thank you so much.
definitely.
Which leads us to the next question. How has cancer changed your life?
It's changed my whole thought process. Um, we take so many things for granted. We complain about things that are insignificant. You know, I remember going back to the pool company after the surgery while I was going through radiation. And I would be at a customer's house we were building the pool for, and they would complain about, we finished the coping and the tile on their pool, and one tile was out of place or something like that. And they would be going crazy. I want you to redo the whole tile on the whole pool. And there was quite a few times that this happened that I actually said to them, there's people all over the world that are going through cancer treatments right now. I'm not telling you I'm not going to fix the tile. Of course, I'm going to fix the tile, but I'm not going to redo the whole pool, you know? And I think if you change your perspective on it, you would see that it's not that big a deal. The pool's not complete yet. It's under construction. We're going to fix that tile, and that's the end of it, you know? And every time I said that to someone, they just put their head down and walk back in the house because they knew what I was saying was true, you know, and I wasn't trying to berate them or anything. I didn't yell at them, but I just think people need that constant perspective. You have to keep that perspective. It's not very hard to find someone who's less fortunate than you in the world. It's not hard to find someone that's going through something that's more difficult than what you're going through. You just have to keep that perspective. You know, all of us, we have to keep that perspective that what I'm going through is not, you know, is not necessarily as big as I'm making it. You know, just look at everything through that the glass is half empty, or the glass is half full. Sorry, not half empty. You know, and just change your perspective on it, on everything. That's what it did for me. Um, just anything, you know, if I'm tired, if I'm sore, if I don't feel well, you know, I once I saw the oncology office, once I saw people going through treatments, once I saw people, I'll never forget the first time I went to the oncology office watching someone put like 30 sugars in their coffee, and I didn't even,
Crazy.
yeah, and I didn't even understand. I had to ask the woman working there. I'm like, why is he doing that? She said, because the chemo, he can't taste the sugar. So just little things that you take for granted, you know, so many things that we take for granted that you just have to look at it through that positive lens and just keep everything positive and just realize things aren't as bad as we make them, you know?
I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, through interviewing a lot of people on this channel, it never ceases to amaze me the things that some people have gone through. It's just
Mm-hmm.
stunning, shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've had the opportunity to interview Shrenik Shah, who is 25-year cancer survivor from throat cancer. He had his vocal cords removed and
Mm-hmm.
talks through a electrolarynx. I I talked to a young lady in the UK, and she has had 13 brain surgeries.
Huh.
I mean, uh,
It's staggering.
my friend Juanita Prada on the East Coast, she's in Virginia, and she was in a coma for a month, and just these unbelievable things.
Yeah.
And she had childhood cancer.
Wow.
She's like 30 years old now. Just incredible, inspiring stories that are out there in this cancer world, and that's why I'm just so attracted to this community, and I embrace the community, and I love the community because I've met some of the greatest people I have ever met in my life, and I'm so honored and thankful to have had this opportunity. So yeah, I mean, to meet people such as yourself with your attitude is fantastic. I love it, and so
I
I know we're going to be friends for a long time for sure.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, you have to be resilient. There's no doubt about it. You know, it's I think of the quote from the pastor Charles Swindoll. Life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. That's what it is, you know. Something bad is always going to happen in your life, or you know, there's always going to be bad people in the world. You know, there's no such thing as a utopia society. So things are always going to happen. There's always going to be bad things. How do you react to it? That's the question. How are you going to react to whatever happens to you today? It could be something as drastic as cancer. It could be something minor. How are you going to react to it?
So I got a question for you as we're talking. I was just thinking about it, and this is a subject that we deal with all the time, and we talk about, feeding good food to your body, but equally as important, and I don't know, maybe even more important, is what you feed your mind, what you feed your mind on a daily basis. So how do you um, cultivate your positive attitude?
When I wake up in the morning, I always, before I even get out of bed, I just I say prayers. I read some Bible verses, and that just starts me off. I think that's what I believe. Just starts me off on that positive journey, and then honestly, it's just I just tell myself, gonna be positive. Things, there's always those people out there. How was your weekend? Oh, it wasn't long enough. How you doing? Oh, how you doing today? Oh, it's too hot, especially down here in South Florida. Yeah, it's always brutally hot. Okay, but what does that have to do with anything? Like what? I mean, you're breathing. You woke up this morning. You woke up. I mean, I guess that's my outlook. Is any day that I wake up is a great day. That's just the way I honestly believe. So, yeah, every morning I wake up, it's a great day. You know, um, I never really understood the opposite way, why I look at everything so negatively. I honestly speak to a lot of people that I work with, because a lot of people, I just had a conversation with a gentleman the other night, one of my coworkers. he was he's one of those people that he's very offended because he grew up with people making fun of him, or even saying like his mom and his sisters will make fun of him, this and that. And honestly, not even intentionally, but I basically ended up preaching to him. I told him I grew up getting made fun of too. I have alopecia. You look at me, I have alopecia. People come up to me all the time and ask me, why do I look like this? All these things. I don't care. So what? I told him, I said, no, you think you didn't go through anything that I didn't go through? Like what? So what? So people called you a name, like why would that even affect your life in that way? Don't even let it. Don't even pay attention to that. You know.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely love that. Um, let's talk about uh, your writing in your book. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, yeah. I just of all the children's books that I released, I just this past week released one called "Don't Give Up." I'm actually about to mail it to the V Foundation at ESPN tomorrow. My hope is that they can, find some use for it. It is a children's book. All my children's books, there's pages in the back where we left the illustrations just black and white, so the children can color them in themselves, whatever they want the illustrations to look like. So there's the regular illustrations in the book, and then there's blank illustrations in the back. So yeah, my hope is that even children going through cancer can read the book and then color in the pictures, and I'm hoping that they can find some use for it.
Do you have one there?
I do. Let me see if I
Can you
can.
can you show it to us?
Let me see if I can turn. Can
Oh
you see that?
wow, that's Jim Valvano, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Can- I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
That's what that's actually, if you can see the cover, that's that's actually three men. Um the first is the story of Texas Western, when they started five black players, for the first time. Obviously, you know about that. You're a basketball fan, you're a basketball player. So, Coach Don Haskins, the first coach to start all five black players, and then, of course, upset Adolph Rupp in Kentucky in the national championship, and obviously a monumental game. The second is Herb Brooks for the 1980 USA Olympic team.
Love it.
Obviously upset the Soviet Union. And then the third is Jimmy V, Coach Jim Valvano, and how they upset the Houston Cougars 5 slamma. Obviously, humongous underdogs they were. So all three of them, huge underdogs, different scenarios. So in the book, you have anti-racism, you have fighting cancer, obviously Jimmy V, you have the national aspect to it with the Olympics and the U.S. hockey team. You have a number of different issues, but the main theme is you're a huge underdog, but you don't believe what the experts tell you your chances are. You determine your own chances with your positive thinking and your positive attitude, and you don't give up.
That is so awesome.
Thank you.
I love that. That is so great.
I
I'm
appreciate
so glad that made the effort to do that because it's so needed in today's world. It's
I agree. Thank you.
yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Can you share with our audience where people could reach you and find out about your book and things like that?
Yes, definitely. My website is johnnyadamsbooks.com. So JONEADAMS books.com. You can find all the books on Amazon. They're up there for sale on Amazon. They're for sale on barnesandnoble.com. On Instagram, it's just Johnny Adams Books. On Twitter, it's at Johnny Adams Books. I'm still learning social media. I never had social media before, so I started about a month ago. So I'm still learning all that. But yeah, those are the social media. I'm also on LinkedIn. That's where you and I met, actually, on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, all those are up. All my social media sites are up. The website is up. It has all 14 books on it. As we speak, the Don't Give Up book just went up on the website a couple days ago. So yeah, and I'll definitely send you a copy
Oh,
of
that's
this.
awesome.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Oh, I love to see that.
Thank
Absolutely. Yeah, I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours, but because we try to limit this to a certain amount of time, uh,
definitely.
you know, thank you so much for your time and sharing your incredible story. I just love sharing this interview with you, and I really appreciate it. It's been an honor.
Definitely. The honor's been all mine. I really appreciate you and I'm praying for you. And if there's anything at all that I can do for you, please don't hesitate to ask.
I'm going to ask you right after we're done here.
Hey,
So with that, in fact, Johnny's a big sports fan, and so we've been talking a lot of sports, and so it's been he's a Magic Johnson fan like I am, and a Kobe fan, and so it's been a pleasure and an honor, my friend. So uh, what I'd like to do is we're gonna get ready to close out this interview. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. And
definitely.
we alluding to what Johnny talked about, our world is so divided and there's just so much going on. And if we could all do a little bit to make it a better place, that's how things will get better. Is everybody makes an effort, even if it's small, a smile at somebody, say hello. You don't know what that other person is going through, and you could have an effect on somebody's life. And there's just so much that we could do if we make the effort and realize that that human being is walking right by you. Hey, say hello to him and smile. I walk my neighborhood and I'm always waving and saying hello to everybody, and it's amazing what you could learn about your neighborhood if you open your eyes. But make the most of each and every day, each and every hour, each and every minute, in each and every breath. And with that, thank you so much for joining us here at To Be Your Own Hero. And we shall see you next week. Thanks again, Johnny. Take care, everyone.